Welcome to a fiber lover's guide to Nelson. On a day off, I tagged along with my husband on his trip to Nelson. My mission: to explore the city's charming yarn shops and soak up all the inspiration this art capital of New Zealand has to offer. And Nelson did not disappoint. We started the day with an incredible stop at Bin, a little gem along the coast known for its crayfish. It's famous for fresh crayfish and was just as amazing as I'd heard. It was more than just lunch, it was an experience with seals basking on the rocks nearby and the ocean right in front of us. The perfect start to a cozy day in Nelson. Once in Nelson, my husband dropped me off at Elma Turner Library. I had everything I needed for a perfect knitting day: hand dyed yarn from two bare hands that was dyed in Nelson, and it seemed appropriate to cast on in Nelson. I'd wound up the yarn by hand all the way from Christchurch to Kaikoura. But just as I was ready to cast on for a new pair of socks, I realized I forgot my double pointed needles. So, after a quick FaceTime with my boys to share the irony, I set off to explore Nelson's fiber scene, even though it had started to rain, and I soon found myself at Cruella's, Nelson's beloved yarn haven. Long back, when we first came to New Zealand, I wanted to visit the shop, but when we visited Nelson, it was closed and I couldn't go in. It had started to rain, but it was a very short walk from the library at Halifax Street to Hardy Street, where Cruella's is located. Cruella's was such a fun stop. Mel, who was working there, welcomed me in and let me browse at my own pace. We chatted about our favorite yarns and shared our love for conservative patterns. The yarn shop owner is a big fan of the designer Stephen West, and there were so many bright, beautiful samples of his shawls on display around the shop. It was a kaleidoscope of colors, including the latest Go-Go Dynamo shawl. I picked out some yarn dyed by the shop owner herself and needles so I could start those socks straight away. And to my delight, Mel kindly wound the yarn for me into two perfect balls ready for knitting. With rain pouring down, my husband picked me up and we set off to Richmond to visit Eyebright, a cozy little haven for crafters about 20 minutes outside the city centre. The traffic and rain were intense, but we made it there with just 15 minutes before closing. The owners at Eyebright were so kind. Even though we were cutting it close, they let me browse around and pick out a couple souvenirs, of course. Yarn and some little notions. I wish we had more time to look around. On our way back, the rain really picked up. Just as we were leaving Nelson, an orange weather warning went out for heavy rain. Thankfully, we made it home safe. This fiber filled day in Nelson was truly a memorable adventure, filled with inspiring yarn shops, kind people, and a few unexpected twists. For any fiber lovers like me visiting Nelson, I hope this guide inspires you to check out the wonderful spots Nelson has to offer. Thank you so much for joining me on this little adventure. Until next time, happy knitting and safe travels. Bye.